here to talk about Ready to Love, y'all. We are on season 11, episode 9. And this episode, we got a chance to say a goodbye to Devon. Bye, Devon. Bye, Devon. Let me see. What can we give Devon to say goodbye to him? What does he deserve? Does he deserve confetti? No, actually, you know what? Devon deserves the rain. The rain, the rain, the rain, the rain. That's what Devon deserves. Because let me tell you something. This was wild, y'all. This was so wild. I mean, Devon getting kicked off the show when he said he had 4 connections and he got kicked off prior to the getaway. I mean, we in football season. Let's use some football analogies. That's like being up by 2 touchdowns with 2 minutes left in the game and you lose the whole game. I mean, it's like you got a runaway touchdown. You going down the field and 4 people are chasing you and then you fumble the ball.
Just don't know why players do this at times.
It's like you so busy believing you all that and you got so much dip on your chip and you already talking about celebrating in the end zone, but you actually fumble the ball before you even score.
First down, Devon, 10, touchdown. Did he drop it early? Boy, that's going to be close.
Oh my goodness, boy, he extended it.
How about when you are so undisciplined and you are so unaware of who really you are in the field of all these women, you think you bigger than that because you're so undisciplined that you drop the ball before you even get into the end zone.
Plenty of room all the way to the end zone.
Execution, everything's great. Oh boy, he dropped that ball. That's close.
Devon, what's wrong with you, Devon? I mean, Devon was so busy worrying about Bello, right? And what Bello was doing with Dominique. Basically, he was so busy trying to fend off the defenders like Bello, but he took his eye off the ball and fumbled the ball before he got into the end zone.
Down the sideline, turning on the speed, and a little stiff arm, ushering into the end zone. But did he lose the ball going out of the end zone? Unbelievable.
I mean, Shannon was served up to him on a plate, y'all. Shannon was basically saying, you're my number one. I want to leave here with you. It's like you got a perfectly thrown ball to you. Shannon with her perfectly cultured pearls. Beautiful pearls. Perfect. She was thrown to you the perfect pass. All you had to do was catch the ball. And you had a perfectly thrown pearl and Shannon with her perfect pearls. And you can't even catch the ball and hang on to it. You fumbled it.
We got to make sure he broke the plane on that, guys. That's also one of the all-time bonehead plays. You just can't do that.
Oh my goodness, Devon. Bye, Devon. You need to leave. I told y'all that Devon was a nerd. I said that he was a nerd. And as such, he exploded because you know what? Devon ain't used to being here. He ain't used to having 4 or 5 different women vie for his attention because this ain't his real life. It's not. So he didn't even know how to act when he got here. And like I said, football analogies, you ain't never been in the Super Bowl. You ain't never made the playoffs. You ain't never been divisional champs. And all of a sudden you get there and you choke. Choke, choke, choke. That's Devon. Choked. Anyway, after we said goodbye to Devon, y'all, we got to go back to the ladies' lounge, you know. The ladies' lounge was when they was talking about how they wanted to get rid of Devon. But anyway, they got back to the ladies' lounge and Ashante showed up in her fur. Goodness, Ashante, is Darius rubbing off on you? Darius, is he rubbing off on you, Ashante? At least it wasn't no live Fox, but you know what? Ashante showed up in her fur. Everybody in Detroit must have furs. That must be a thing. I know a Queen of Soul. Isn't that where Aretha Franklin was from? She was from Detroit, and she's always wear furs. So maybe Detroit is known for furs. Shannon, of course, showed up in her signature pearls, her signature look. Shannon, at this point, I mean, I know I've been talking about Donna. She's developing an app for a dating app. That's what I said. That was my running joke about Donna with all her statistics analysis. I'm starting to believe that Shannon, after this, she's gonna start a business of culture pearls. She's gonna come out with a side gig and she's gonna be selling pearls. Because there's two things Shannon's gonna do. She's gonna wear her pearls. And did y'all see later on in the episode at the breakfast, Shannon even had her pearls on at breakfast. Shannon didn't even take them pearls off, y'all, to go to bed. You know, and she had on her pink and green dress. I'm telling y'all, Shannon, there's something about Shannon that is starting to feel a little bit like a little bit of a copycat kind of thing. Like, who is Shannon? Or does Shannon just know how to sort of copycat things? You know, I watched a little bit last week, Kojo, Little Black Book, shout out to Little Black Book. They have Mercedes on their live. You know, Kojo does a live session, live panel. You know, sometimes I get to tune into it to watch it. And so I saw a little bit last week, and Mercedes was on there. And Mercedes was telling the story about how she and Shannon have known each other for a really, really, really long time. They've been friends since they was in the 6th grade. Mercedes says she's been dating since she was in the 6th grade. Girl, don't tell nobody that. Sometimes I've been asking people these stories they tell. I often wonder why they tell them. Mercedes, stop telling the story that you was dating when you were in the 6th grade. That don't sound good. But we're not going to get into it. But she told us the story. Mercedes told the story that the way that she and Shannon met each other was that Mercedes was dating a young boy in the 6th grade. And then Mercedes and the young boy broke up. And then Shannon started dating the young boy. After Mercedes had dated him. I told y'all Shannon was a safe space. I told y'all Shannon is where guys go to when they need to heal. I bet Mercedes broke up with that boy in the 6th grade. That's what I bet. Shannon didn't steal that boy away from Mercedes. I already know that Mercedes knows how to drop men, and she's been dropping men since she was in the 6th grade. Like I said, that's your work, Mercedes. You need to go back and figure out. I told y'all these behaviors we got when we 30 and 40 years old, they didn't just start at 30 and 40. Now we got Mercedes telling us she was dropping boys in the 6th grade. Just like Darius has told y'all he was having women kiss his ring back in where? The 1st grade? These behaviors we got, y'all, they don't just start at 30 or 40. These are chronic conditions. So Mercedes says she's been dropping men. She's been dropping men since the 6th grade. And now we find out that Shannon has been picking up men who need to heal since she was in the 6th grade. Y'all think I just be making this shit up when I be coming up with these theories? But lo and behold, stuff comes along that proves my theory. Where's Donna? Where is Donna as my wing woman? Donna, bring some statistical analysis, because we're going to see here in this episode again that Shannon is over here trying to pick up sloppy seconds from everybody else. We're going to get into it. But anyway, Shannon showed up with her signature pearls and her pink and green colors again. And Dominique showed up in her signature shapewear. Dominique gonna start another line too with her shapewear. Somebody already told me she got a shapewear line. I get it now. These are supposed to be, okay, this is what I want. I know I was ragging on this shapewear with Dominique before. Well, I was calling them stockings. Y'all dropped down in my comments. You said, hey, wait a minute, Auntie Deborah. This could be shapewear. This is shapewear. I go, you know what? Maybe y'all are right. This is shapewear. So this is what I want to do. I need the shapewear, Dominique, for me to buy it. I'm going to need the color to be a little bit closer to the skin tones, right? like, I want you to come out with some different tones. Different tones. I'm gonna need more than 3 tones. I'm gonna need, just like we match our foundation, I'm gonna need you to match this shapewear. Then, Dominique, I'm gonna be with you. I might go buy some. But anyway, they start talking about how did y'all, tell me, start asking the ladies, how did your friends like these men? And Dominique said all her friends like Bello. She said Bello was coming correct. He was claiming me. He was doing everything he needed to do. Nicole said she is smitten by Darius. Her friends liked everything Darius said. Well, there you go. So now Darius, did you hear that, Darius? Not only did Nicole like everything you said, but she got 2 friends willing to join your harem. Pimp Darius, Darius came away with 3 women. He went in to get 1 woman, Nicole. He came away with 3 women willing to be on the roster. Girl. All of a sudden, Shannon says she really likes Steven. She really likes Steven. Now that Devon is gone, Devon is gone, she like, I really like Steven. And Ashante said, you know what, her friends like Steven too. Donna says she's stuck on Vince. She's stuck on Vince. And then when they got ready to go to Lauren fumbled too, because we know at the end of this episode, they didn't tell us who's going home. But you know what, my money's on? Lauren, because she fumbled too. Next week, Lauren, we might be here with some sports analogies for you too, because you fumbled too. You fumbled too. But Lauren sat up here and doubled down on that whole storyline about how Vince was too aggressive with her friends when they were questioning him over whether or not he was 6'2". And she was not on firm footing. I'm sorry, Lauren. And then the fact that you doubled down on it, Lauren, tells me a lot more about you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody last week or weeks before, they were mad about those ladies, what was her name? Cardi's friend Cardi B getting on Ashante, being so assertive and aggressive and questioning Ashante, and then Cardi didn't come to her rescue. And what I told a lot of you guys in the comments, because I was having a conversation with y'all, what I was saying was that I understood how you felt Cardi didn't protect Ashante, and I agreed. I said he sure didn't. He sure didn't. But one of the reasons why I said Cardi actually didn't even have motivation was because Ashante really wasn't claiming Cardi. She came in saying he's the homeboy, right? And so I believe that Cardi was somewhat in the background, in the back subconscious. I believe he also felt like Ashante wasn't standing up for him. So what's the incentive to stand up for her? And when you look at this situation with Vince and Lauren, I think a lot of the same sentiment was going on, because honestly, Lauren, your friends were out of pocket. I said it then. Your friends attacking him over the 6'2" thing is really ridiculous, because, if Vince really wanted to get nasty, we all talk about how Vince can get nasty and mean. But Vince held back, because Vince could have put them 2 women under the bus real quick. First of all, he could have said, just like you challenging my height, I already told you I'm 6'2". And if you don't believe I'm 6'2", because you're looking at me and you don't think I'm 6'2", that's fine. Then go with that. But this constant picking at it, they was out of pocket. But he could have got him good. All he had to do was tell that girl with that gray hair, is that your real gray hair? Is that your real gray hair? He could have told them, well, what's your weight? Is that your real weight? You see what I'm saying? Because when it comes to the sensitive spots of men and women, height is a sensitive thing with men. Like if you on the dating apps, everybody knows men lie about their height. Everybody know they lie about their height. And everybody knows that women lie about their weight. Let's be real. So if you want to catch Vince in a lie about his height, when he's standing right there, and you could tell whatever he is, 6'2", 6 feet, whatever he is, you could tell he's lying, but you still want to go at it, he should have said, well, what's the weight on your driver's license? Is that real? is that real? Because we all know our driver's license weight ain't real. We ain't updated that weight since 10 years ago. Come on, ladies. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Lauren didn't come to no rescue of Vince. Maybe because he called her a B word, back in the early. Maybe she didn't need to feel like she wanted to come to his rescue, because secretly Lauren don't really want Vince, because we all been wondering how could Lauren be over the fact that Vince called her a B word? How could he be even here meeting her friends when this was the guy who called you the B word? Why would you want to be with a guy like that? So maybe she never really did want to be with him, right? Like I said, Lauren done fumbled this. She even said it later on. She done fumbled this whole season. She fumbled bad. She kind of worse than Devon, because she fumbled before she even got to the end zone. She fumbled probably around the red zone, the 20-yard line. But so maybe she didn't feel no need to take up for Vince, and in fact, maybe she enjoyed it, right? You see, when you want to get some get back on someone, but you want to be demure and you don't want to be the one doing the get back, what you do is you bring in your posse and you let them get on some get back, and that's what they did. They came in, because I think Lauren prides herself on being classy. Like she said, I don't know if I could take Vince anywhere because I don't know how he's going to act. Well, Lauren said, I want to keep it classy and demure, but that don't mean she ain't going to send her posse with the gray hair, with the gray stripe down the middle. But Ashanti said her friends told her that she need to run from Cardi. And Dom said, because he's too shallow. Basically, he's shallow. And we're going to see later on that Cardi was just offended. Cardi was offended by that. But we're going to talk about that too. Dom said no to Devon, no to Devon, no to Devon, both of them. Both Devon and Devon, they said no to. And Shannon said, privately, Devon was telling her all the nice things, saying she's number one and everything. But then when he got in public, he didn't claim her. He was basically saying, you one of many. And once again, Shannon being that safe spot for Devon. So all that time, Shannon was on the phone, canoodling with Devon, probably filling his ears up with nice, sweet words, because on the other end of the stick, with all them other women, Devon was getting shut down. And then what he knew he could do is run over to Shannon and feel good again. Like I said, Shannon, girl, you got to stop being such a safe space for these men who are getting rejected by the women they really want. Okay? And it sounds like you've been doing this since sixth grade, Shannon. Since sixth grade. This ain't good. Go back and look, Shannon. I'm telling you, I'm not here. Everybody said I got on Shannon. This is coming out of care and concern, y'all. I'm not here just to be messy. I just like people to break old patterns. I like people to get rid of, and this is the new year. We here in New Year's. We still in the first couple of weeks of the new year. This is the time when we need to start thinking about shedding old habits that don't serve us well. Habits we've been doing since we was in the sixth grade, but yet they're not appropriate now that we're 30. This is one of them, Shannon. Being safe spaces for men who don't really want you. Get rid of it. But they had to go out and do their elimination dates. Cardi came. Ashley was going to be the one to deliver the news to Cardi. Cardi came over and spilled a drink on Ashley and didn't even ask for no napkin to wipe it up. Cardi, you're not a gentleman. You're not a gentleman, Cardi. This tells you how uncomfortable he is around women. Cardi, just like Devon, are nerds, okay? And they don't have a lot of experience around women, and they definitely don't have a lot of experience around really pretty women. You saw Cardi's ex-girlfriend, Cardi B, okay? And what I'm telling you is he's so nervous, he's spilling the drink all over Ashley, and then he's so discombobulated, he doesn't even know how to get a napkin and wipe it off. Ashley got to ask the waiter or production, can you give me a napkin? In the end, they told him, listen, Cardi, you don't go deep enough. You're not intentional. We need more from you. But you know what? We still believe you were ready to love. In the beginning, we got on Cardi about all these different hairstyles, right? And people got tired of it. These are also symbolic of Cardi's just throwing things out to see what sticks. You see what I'm saying? Let me throw out a bunch of different hairstyles to see which one gets me the most play. Cardi is not experienced. He don't know what works for him, what doesn't work for him. He really, I think is delayed in the dating world. If we really could go back in Cardi's dating world, there's a lot of fumbling going on in his world too. He's delayed because I think that he entered the dating game late in his life, and now he looks like a fish out of water. This is why he's frustrated that people don't really know him. They don't really know what's inside, because Cardi is so busy trying different things, running around from girl to girl, throwing things on the wall, seeing if it sticks, trying all these different hairstyles. You know what I'm saying? He's still trying to find himself. He don't know his look. You see, when you finally figure out who you are, you know what looks good on you, you know what doesn't look good on you, you know yourself. Then what you can do is you can go out in the world and you can put your best foot forward. You can do things. Cardi's still trying to figure it out. You could tell he's trying to figure out in his hairstyle, in the way that he dresses. It's all over the place. In the things that he says, his conversation is disconnected. He's confused. He's lost because he's trying to enter this cool world, and he don't come from the cool world. He comes from the nerd world. He need to go back to the nerd world. There's plenty of women who like nerds, but Cardi, just like Devon, are out here trying to swim in the oceans, and they need to go back to the little koi pond. Okay, the koi ponds, like kois are worth a lot of money. They nice. People love them. They come into a koi pond. This is nice, but they want to be in the big old ocean with the sharks. Everybody ain't made for the ocean. They not. Wasn't that a TLC, swimming the lakes and the rivers that you used to? Somebody need to tell that to Cardi and Devon. But anyway, Shannon and Devon, when Shannon had to give Devon the goodbye, she told him that our dates were lukewarm. And this is when Cardi couldn't even humble himself enough. And she said, on the dates, you was lukewarm meeting the friends, but when we were talking, you was telling me like I was number one and stuff. And Devon looked her in the face and said, well, it fluctuates. That's when you said you got way too much dip on your chip. Devon, boy. Ain't nobody believe in this, Devon. We know, I know who you are. And she said, what? He told her to her face, it fluctuates between you, and Ashante is rising. And she tried to tell her, well, you have a lack of self-confidence. And Devon's like, me? I don't have no lack of self-confidence. And the look on Shannon's face when Devon was talking, it was a look of disgust, because what Shannon started to realize was, here I was providing this safe space for Devon to feel cared for and feel like a king. Because what I'm thinking of is that, he's a nerd and he's going to appreciate all this attention I'm giving him. And then basically I'm providing this safe space for him. And then he come up here and sit in my face and start talking about how my caretaking wasn't good enough, and it fluctuates between me and 4 other women. And you mean to tell me all this safe space I've been providing, what did it get me? It didn't get me nothing. Shannon had the look of disgust. And she should be. She should be. Like I said, Shannon, stop providing safe spaces for these men out here who don't even recognize you as a prize, and they try to juggle you between 4 and 5 different women. Shannon. Anyway, Devon went home. He said he was too political, and he said maybe if I had not been too political, I wouldn't have gone home. Political? What you mean? Politically correct? Is that what you're trying to say? That you was just being politically correct? Bye, Devon. Go home. But then they got ready for this road trip. They said this is gonna be the episode where we go to the cabin. And next thing you know, there you got Bello and Dominique and Shannon riding in the car, and where's Shannon? In the back seat, in the safe seat. I'm surprised she wasn't in no car seat, in the back seat, in a car seat, because Shannon all about safety. She in the back seat. Dominique, on the other hand, sitting in the front seat like she a wife, with her legs kicked up, and she on a road trip. And Dominique says, I'm okay with Bello. I know Bello got this, situationship, whatever, with this baby mama back in Florida, and he's on child support. He don't really know the baby. But Dominique says, I'm used to ball players out here in the streets, and I'm used to men having side babies that they don't really claim, that they haven't paid child support. So this ain't nothing to me. Dominique says, I've been here before. I know how to play this game, and I'm going to play this game all the way to the end. Because of all the men, there's really no other man here that matches the swag of Dominique. Dominique needs a man with a little bit of swag. And am I saying Bello is a good match for her necessarily? Not really. But in terms of swag, what else she got to choose from? The only other people out here that think they got swag is probably the man with the furs. That's the only other person with the red fur. Later on, we see Darius show up to the cabin with a red fur on. Goodness. But everybody starts showing up at the house. Steven is riding in the car with Ashante and Lauren. And Steven, another person up here, talking about he got 4 connections. Narrow this shit down, Steven. But luckily, Steven says, this is it. I'm going to have to narrow this down. It's been it, Steven. You should have been narrowed this down. So at this point, any person going in to the retreat with 4 connections, I'm not feeling you. I'm not feeling you at all. No, you should have narrowed it down to 2. And everybody started talking about, are they going to pair up in the bedrooms? Vince and Donna having their little conversations. Vince really do want to sleep with Donna in the same room. But Donna said, absolutely not. Not for my date nap. No. I done read the statistics on if I do that right now, what would happen. Donna right now says, no, we're going to have separate bedrooms. Darius is running around with his pink fur. And Shannon went over there and claimed her room right away. She said, this is going to be my room with a nice king-size bed, the suite with the lounge and everything. And the minute she turned her back and walked out the room, here come Dominique in here with her support stockings, her shapewear, and she claimed the room right away. And I was like, ooh, what's going to happen now? And Shannon came in that room and saw that Dominique had claimed the room. And Dominique laid on that bed and said, I'm not going nowhere. And what did the safe space Shannon do? She said, where am I going to sleep? Providing another safe space for somebody. Now, listen here. Would I have been a person that could have given up the room to Dominique and Bello because I noticed that they had a really strong connection? And so I could have said, hey, my connections really aren't that strong right now. But I like Dominique. She's a cool chick. And I want to give her a gift. And I got a room I give. Yeah, I could have given her. But you know what you're not going to do, Dominique? You're just not going to assume it. You're just not going to assume I'm going to be a safe space for you and give you what you want. And then you dump me. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not going to take me for granted. So I would have said, listen, Dominique, you could ask, but you're not going to just take. You see, and what Dominique did was she took it. She took the room. I didn't like that. I thought that was very bold of her. I thought that was very selfish of her to do that. I understood why she was doing it, but she should have asked Shannon, hey, Shannon, do you mind? And then when Shannon said, well, where am I gonna sleep? Dominique was basically, that ain't my problem. You see, this is all showing you the competitive side of Dominique. You said when you are a chick that's dated ball players, you are used to having to muscle other women out the way because there's always a lot of chicks that want your man, the man you want. So what that showed you about Dominique was her competitive side. And if anybody didn't think that Dominique is competing, I know she's real smooth with it, trying to pretend like she not really in it to win and she playing the game. Nah, Dominique wants to win. Dominique wants a man. You see, she's trying to pretend like she's not so thirsty, but later on down the line, we see a little parts of Dominique that shows, oh no, Dominique is trying to do a full court press on Bello. She's starting to muscle women out the way. Lauren, all that. So I didn't like that little exchange, and I didn't like the way that, once again, Shannon went over there and tucked her tail between her legs and went somewhere to a nice, safe corner. No. And Lauren, on the other hand, it was interesting because Lauren saw it. She saw that gangster move by Dominique. Lauren saw it. And what Lauren said was, I didn't like it. And I'm going to have a conversation with Bello about it later on. And later on, we're going to talk about the conversation Lauren had with Bello that didn't go well. And I'm going to tell you why it didn't go well. And it didn't go well because Lauren was believing that she had more capital with Bello, and she didn't. She was sitting up there trying to play her ace card, and what she didn't realize was Dominique had the high joker. Any of y'all play spades? That's what Lauren thought. Lauren wasn't counting the cards. Lauren was up here playing her ace, and everybody's like, why are you playing the ace, girl? The low joker nor the high joker even been played. You about to get that ace eaten up in spades. And Lauren over here, like I said, she fumbled. She don't know how to play the game either. She played that little that little ace. And lo and behold, Dominique over here holding the little joker and the big joker. Girl, she going home. Lauren is going home. But we got to see a nice little conversation. One thing I like about this episode was we finally got to see some good conversations going on. Like the last episodes, I felt we didn't really get to know these people. And Shannon was able to have a good conversation with Darius to expose him some more. I mean, it ain't like Darius ain't already exposed, but it was interesting to see Shannon be the one to really expose Darius. That's why I keep saying about Shannon. There's a part about Shannon, because Shannon is good friends with Mercedes, parts of me thinks that there's got to be a part of Shannon that knows. But then it's this other Shannon that comes around with the pearls and the demureness, where I almost feel like, which is the real Shannon? The Shannon who can really peep it, or the Shannon that overlooks it? And part of me believes that Shannon is trying to become one of these, what do you call them? What's it called? The manosphere women, where they say you got to be a man's piece. That's what a man wants you to be, his piece. And I think Shannon has taken it too far. She's so focused on being a man's piece, she's not recognizing that you don't need to be a man's piece if he's drama. You see what I'm saying? Like, why am I going to be your piece when you the drama? Like Cardi B says, am I the drama? No, you could be a man's piece when he's peace, right? You don't want to be a disruptor in a man that's already got peace. But when a man has already got drama, like Devon, all that drama with 4 different women, Darius, you don't need to be their piece. Absolutely not. I'm not coming here to give you something that you don't even know how to give yourself, because guess what? You ain't gonna be my piece. And Darius, she got Darius good though. Shannon got Darius good. She said, now wait a minute. You told me you was with someone for 11 years. She said, that's giving common law. He says, oh, but it was on and off. That's even worse. That's even worse. And she said, well, what do you mean it was on and off? He goes, well, it was in our 20s. And I saw her And I saw that she could be a good trick on the street. Oh, sorry, that she could be good potential. He didn't say that part. I said that part. And he said, I thought I could change her. She was a stripper. I thought I could change a stripper into a housewife. And Shannon was like, well, why would you think that? She said, why would you think that? And then Darius said, no, because for a lot of people, a lot of women in the adult entertainment industry, it's just a quick stop. What? Who said that? Who said that? Where did you even meet her, Darius? I met her in my own club. Woo! I'm going to tell you, every time Darius spoke, he put his foot in his mouth. And this is when I'm telling people that this is really, really deep rooted. The thought process of Darius. The thought process of Darius is really, really, is sick. Darius is basically saying, yeah, you's a stripper, but what I'm trying to do is take you off the street. But then what I'm trying to do is not have men use you for this, but I'm going to use you for something else. Darius is a user. He learns how to find women who are vulnerable for whatever reason. And then he likes to take those women who may be getting exploited by other people in other ways. And what he says is, I'm going to stop you from being exploited or hurt. And I'm going to bring you into my life. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to exploit you and hurt you in another kind of way. Stay away from the Dariuses of the world. Stay away from them. In the end, Shannon told him, everything you said don't sound good. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you. See, that's what I'm saying. Up here, I feel like Shannon gets it, but it don't translate into how she moves in dating. And I want to know why. That's what I want to know. I want to know how you can have it up here, but then you move in dating a completely different way. That's what I want to know. I want to know why there's a disconnect. Somebody done told you something, Shannon, and maybe earlier in the day, Shannon was more like Donna, and then or Mercedes. I can tell you, Mercedes is quick to really cut men off. Maybe Shannon and Mercedes were more alike. I don't know. I'm over here speculating. I don't know the girl, but there's a whole lot of evidence that there's something going on. But while that was going on, Stephen was over in the corner macking up Donna, talking about how good her outfit looked. And then he started talking about, I know you good with money because you a mathematician. And do you know how to stretch a dollar? Because I'm over here on this teacher salary, and I'm going to need a woman that knows how to stretch a dollar. So are you good with money and calculations? And Donna said, oh, I'm happy you asked, because yes, you know what my dissertation is about? It's about the millennials and how they spend money. And Stephen was, ooh, ding, 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 ding. Stephen, because that's what I'm going to need. I'm going to need a woman who knows how to stretch a dollar. And then he asked that question about, them boots look nice. How much did they cost? I can't believe Stephen asked Donna how much her boots cost. But she said, oh, there was $1,200. Donna spent $1,200 on them boots. That's when Stephen started believing she's out of his league. He said, that ain't going to be on the budget. That is not going to be on no teacher's budget. $1,200 on some boots, Donna. This app you making, Donna, it better really take off. And but he was trying to vibe with Donna. He was trying to mack her up. And then next thing you know, Vince said, you ain't going to cozy up with Donna that much. I'm coming over here interrupting this conversation. And he came right over there and interrupted that conversation with Donna and Stephen. And Stephen was mad. He was really, really mad. And soon as Vince came over there, Donna's whole attention changed from Stephen over to Vince. Sure did. And next thing you know, Stephen was over there stuck with Shannon, and Shannon was sitting over there putting her legs on Stephen. Stephen was over there singing that song, How Did We Get Here? Because this is not how I planned this out. I did not plan for Shannon to be over here wrapping her legs around me. I was really trying to get with Donna in this moment. But Donna over here talking to Vince about, I don't need no man to do everything for me. I can wrap my life around a man and I can be independent. And that's music to Vince's ear, because what Vince has been telling women is, listen, don't make me your everything, because I ain't going to be giving you everything. You're going to need to have something of your own, some of your own money, some of your own time, some of your own self-esteem, because you're not going to be able to come to me for me to give you all your self-esteem, all your money, and all of my time. Okay? So you're going to need to have your own, and then we come together like 50-50 or something. And Donna said, that's good, because I'm independent, plus I know how to pair up with a man. And Vince said, good. Do you know how to blend a family too? Since we're going to be blending 50-50, do you know how to blend a family? And Donna said, I sure do, because I come from one. I come from a blended family and everything. I know how to do all this, Vince. I know how to compromise. I had a little sister that came from a brother from another mother, or whatever you want to call it. I know how to do it all. And Vince said, good, because that's what I'm going to need before I drop my sperm into another woman. And Donna said, oh, I was so happy to hear that he's ecstatic about having more children. Donna, don't be so sure, okay? Donna, you should know the first thing about statistic analysis. You can trust, but you better verify, right? It's okay for you to trust or to believe you might can trust Vince's answer that he wants more children, but you better verify, Donna. You better verify, okay? Just because he said it don't make it true. Just because people make statements don't make they true. And honestly, do I think that Vince wants a whole lot more children? I don't. He already got 2 children. I know he's been married before. I can't even remember if both children by the same mother. And does he really want not only maybe one more child, but multiple children? You know how expensive it is to raise children? Do you think Vince want to pay all that money to raise children? The only way Vince is going to have more children, I'm going to tell you now, is if he gets with a woman that makes a whole lot of money. Because what Vince is going to say is, if you want 2 more children or 3 more, you better make sure you're bringing enough money to pay for them, because I'm not doing it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to do it. Just let you know, I'm willing to have them, but I'm not going to be willing to pay all that money for them. So your dreams of 2 and 3 children better come with some money. Some of the money. But later on, we got to see us sit down with Lauren, with Bello. Lauren called Bello a supermodel. And she said, let me go ahead and confront Bello about this fact that he's sharing a room with Dominique. And Lauren got out there and played her ace of spades and said, you know, are we still really a strong connection? Because I done seen you in the room. And she's like, I'm kind of wondering if you emotionally available. Boom. She threw down that ace of spades, in Bello's lap. She threw down that ace of spades. Bello said, oh, hold up, wait a minute. I got the little joker in my hand. He said, boom, let me throw this down on you. Instead of coming from me and telling me what I'm doing wrong, how about you? What you doing wrong? You saying, are you putting your all into this? It had Lauren taking a step back. She said, wait a minute. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting Bello to go on the defense. Bello didn't go on the defense. He threw down that little joker. He said, no, don't be coming from me and tell me what I'm doing. How about you? What you doing? What you not doing? Ooh, Bello's a professional. You know you're dealing with a professional when you throw down the ace of spades on them, thinking you backing them in the corner, and instead of them addressing what you here to talk about, they throw it back on you. It's like a reverse Uno. Talk about a little joke. It was like a reverse Uno on Lauren, and Lauren was backed up. Next thing you know, Bella was over here telling her, you know, be careful that you letting your light dim, because, you know, you might get moved out the way. Basically, that's what he was saying. Don't sleep. Okay, you over here trying to be safe, but you might just be like, you might just be too safe to the point you might not even get recognized. Bello threw down that little joker, that reverse Uno, and next thing you knew, Lauren was over here shivering in the corner, talking about she might have been too calculating. And all of a sudden now she realized she in trouble because she ain't got no more high cards to play. She done played them. She done played them. She's out. She is out. She's out. And then we also got to see Cardi come through here saying he's about to blow the mind of Ashley, show her something she never experienced. He about to introduce her to the Cardi experience. We've been wondering what the Cardi experience is, and we got to see a little bit of it. And next thing we know, the Cardi experience is on a hoverboard. I told you Cardi is a nerd. Was he like a skateboard head back in the day? You know what I'm saying? Can't you see Cardi back in the day with his hair in a ponytail, you know, on a skateboard at the skateboard park, a nerd. Now he on a hoverboard with one wheel, cuffing Ashley's ass, lifting Ashley up. Ashley, I said, I'm out here in this sexy onesie with my back out, my booty all looking good, letting y'all know I'm a personal trainer. And you got me out here on this hoverboard about to break my neck, cuffing my ass. Girl. Cardi. I said Cardi's out of his league. Out of his league. He was like, I had to cuff her booty. There was no other way for me to do it. At least say, Cardi don't know how to come up with no lines, nothing. It's sad to watch. It's sad to watch a person out their league. You know what I'm saying? It's like a person telling you they know how to swim when they in 3 feet of water. And they say, oh, you know how to swim? Good, girl. Come on, let's go out to the ocean. And then you get to the ocean, they going like this, trying to stay alive above the water. You don't know how to swim. Why did you say you know how to swim? We could have stayed over there in the shallow end, but you out here in the deep water, and now you drowning. Cardi is drowning. Drowning. And then we got to see a little fireside chat with Dom and Bello. You know, Lauren played her ace of spade. Bello played his high joker. Next thing you know, you got Dom coming in playing that high joker saying, ooh, I'm about to take this man. I'm about to swoop up and take this man. I'm about to lock him in. She started talking about what's your timeline. Dominique. This is how I know Dominique is serious. I know a lot of people think Dominique is playing the game. No, Dominique wants a man. Dominique wants a man, and she's about to bring up this whole timeline thing with Bello, and honestly, it's making Bello a bit uncomfortable because what Bello knows is my timeline is long. It's really, really, really long. He said he needs 2 years to get to know a person, which means 2 years to get to know you. Another year, 2 years after that, another year to possibly propose. So really what Bello is, he's about 5 years. That's what he's trying to tell you, Dom. You ain't got 5 years. You don't have 5 years to spend with Bello. No. Your timelines don't add up. Your religion don't add up. And then Dom says, well, I guess you can't rush greatness, girl. It sounds cute. It's good, Dominique. You got some good lines. You don't rush greatness. Your lips look pretty. And, then she greasing them up. She know how to pump up a man. When you date athletes, you got to have a lot of good one-liners on how to puff men up because there's so many women constantly making them feel like they're kings of the castle, king of the jungle, that you got to learn how to be really good at it. Honestly, Dom, I'm going to tell you something, Dom. You need to start a flirting school. You know how they have those schools where they teach women how to be a model and walk? Dom needs to start a school to teach a lot of women how to flirt because Dom is very good at flirting. She's very good at stringing men, pulling men in. She knows how to encourage men. She also knows how to take risk in saying things in which she might get hurt, but yet taking the risk to stroke a man's ego because it could pay off for her. And a lot of women don't know that balance. A lot of women are so afraid in dating. What they do is, Ashante, they never really want to show a lot of enthusiasm for a man because what they're doing is they're protecting themselves from getting hurt. So they say, I don't want to come out and show too much eagerness towards you until that man does a whole bunch for them. So what they want is, I need the man to make me feel really, 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 really safe, right? Really, really, really wanted, really, really, really loved. Once I feel really safe, then I'll be willing to say something to them where I come out being vulnerable. But really, it's not a risk anymore, because what the woman has done is she's waited till she's so safe that now when she gets ready to take a risk, there's no risk because she already knows how the man feels about her, you see. But the thing about dating is you have to take risks. You see, Ashante is like the reverse of Shannon. Shannon provides a safe space for men, you see, before they've even taken any risk on her. Ashante doesn't take any risk on a man, and she wants the man to make her feel safe. What Dom does is she's risking something. She's risking stroking the ego of Bello like this, because what she knows is in the end she could be made a fool of too. But what she also knows is that you've got to play to win, you see, because playing to be safe in dating and never taking risks, more than likely you lose a lot. Shannon loses a lot because there's no risk by the man. The man doesn't have to ante up anything. What Dom does pretty well is she takes risk, but it also allows the man to be willing to also take a risk with her, you see. And so that's what you need, because, you know, I know women want men to take all the risk and not be afraid to get hurt and afraid to lose, but it's just not true. Men get hurt. Men sometimes get hurt even more than women. They don't always tell you that, but they do. So you've got to find that delicate balance between not being completely thirsty, but you do have to give a man something to hold on to, right? So women need to learn that middle ground. And right now, Dom is trying to close the deal with Bello. She knows that Bello is between her and Lauren, and she knows that Devon is gone. So if you think about it, who else is going to really vote for Dom besides Bello? So Dom is going all in. She's trying to close the deal. And next thing you know, they're having dinner and they're asking each other, what have you learned? What have you learned about each other? Darius says he at the dinner table with a fur coat. They ain't got no heat in that house. Why is Darius with a fur coat on at the dinner table? But anyway, Ashante learned that she's a prude. No, you're not a prude, Ashante. You're too safe. You're too safe. You don't know how to take risks. You're too protective over yourself to the point that you're not vulnerable enough so that other people can also feel like, hey, like I said, don't do business. Even in the business world, there's a saying, don't do business with people who don't have nothing to lose. You know why? Because you're the one that has everything to lose. They don't have nothing to lose. Ashante wants a game in which she don't have nothing to lose, and all the other person has everything to lose. People don't want to do business with you, right? Anyway, but what she realized was, I'm behind all the other ladies. That's right. That's right. The safe money don't always make the good money. You see what I'm saying? You don't need to be reckless, but the safe game, you typically don't get big returns. Lauren says she's learning that she prejudges people. Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what? Lauren says she realizes that she might need to do a better job at not prejudging people. And they asked Cardi, what have you learned? And Cardi started giving this long-winded speech, you know, with all these thoughts in his head, because he got a lot of thoughts in his head. And he started talking about how the process is not easy and your best attribute may not be appreciated by everyone. And the next thing you know, you might miss the boat. Well, here's the part about Cardi's whole speech. If you did a little bit of work, you could have understood that what Cardi was saying, even though he wasn't speaking in the first person, he should have said I. What Cardi should have done was says, what I've learned in the process is not easy, and that sometimes my best attributes may not actually be appreciated by others. They may not be soon, And if I'm not careful, I may not miss the boat. But Cardi wasn't able to talk in the first person. Instead, what he talked about was a person, a third person. That's how he talked. And so what happened was it wasn't personal. And what the women wanted was you to say something about what you personally learned. The truth of the matter is, Cardi did really learn that personally, but what he didn't do was he didn't express it that way. You see what I'm saying? He didn't express it in the first person. And what he was really saying, the reason why he was so offended by it, that when he said he was so frustrated because people are not understanding how deep he is, and he really is deep, is because what I believe about Cardi is that in his earlier dating life, he was very much of a nerd. And probably what he did was he was probably deep in nerd conversation, right? And what women probably told him was, I don't want to hear all this. It's too nerdy. Even Lauren said that she's actually had deep conversations with Cardi to the point was she don't want to take the test no more. What she was saying was Cardi gets so deep down into the nerdness that she actually didn't like it. So when Cardi was frustrated saying people don't really understand me, what Cardi is saying was he was triggered. He was triggered because that used to be the feedback on him when he was dating earlier. And here he is trying to be this elusive person, move around a little bit, right? Try different hairstyles, talk to different women, have a bunch of different conversations. Don't get stuck in a pigeonhole talking about the same thing where people get lost. He was trying to be a different person in dating, and now that he's moved around, he's floating around, he's not staying stuck on one topic because people felt he was too nerdy. Now all of a sudden he's like, wait a minute, what do you women want? You didn't like me when I was nerdy. Now I'm floating around, floating like a butterfly, and now you tell me I'm shallow? I ain't shallow. And he was triggered. And then they said, you over here talking in these metaphors. And Cardi said, I am a metaphor. You see what I'm saying? Cardi said, I am a metaphor. I'm so deep that to understand me, you got to understand metaphors. To call me shallow is the opposite of what I am. I'm way beyond shallow. I'm a metaphor. You got to think to be with me. Cardi was so triggered. He was so triggered. He said, you calling me shallow? He said, I'm as deep as the ocean. I'm as deep as the ocean. And I'm over here trying to swim in the shallow water with you ladies. Because even when I was sitting over there talking about my metaphor earlier about what I learned, you ladies didn't even get that point. You really thought I was talking about other people. I was talking about myself. But because y'all ain't deep thinkers, you didn't get it. Cardi's frustrated. He's frustrated. He said, I'm over here swimming in the deep blue ocean, but y'all didn't want that. Y'all wanted me to come back over here to the shallow waters, and then now all of a sudden you don't get it, and now I'm too shallow. Cardi, you got to find yourself, and then you got to go swim with people who can appreciate that part of you. You swimming too far out where you from, Cardi. I'm trying to tell you, don't be blaming the ladies. Don't be mad. This is why I keep telling people, take personal responsibility in your dating world. Cardi is over here blaming these ladies for not getting his metaphors when he needs to go find someone who will understand them. Okay? Go find someone who will understand. You the man, you the one that can hunt, you can find that woman. Find her. And then sure, you may have to make some tweaks to it. She may even get mad at your metaphors, but you can find her. You can find her. But anyway, we also got to see a good conversation with Ashante and Bello by the fire pit. Even Bello got to bring down his walls a little bit with Ashante. And he started telling Ashante, because Ashante brought to him, hey, I'm just afraid, like my friend said, that you're going to want me to convert. And Bello says, no, I would never, I'm not that type of a guy. And Bello started talking about, I would never ask you to be something you wouldn't want to be. And and Ashante said, well, I don't believe it, because if religion is such a big part of your life, why wouldn't you ask me to convert? And what Bello is saying, Ashante, is he may not ask you to convert, but those children gonna need to be Muslim. So what you would need to ask yourself is, I don't need to convert, but I would have to raise my child of a religion that I'm not part of. How are you gonna do that? How are you gonna do that? You see, he could be telling the truth that he wouldn't ask you to convert. But the question you need to ask yourself is, if I don't convert, then that would mean I'm not also raising my child in my beliefs or my religion. So I would just turn my child over to you and you would raise them in your beliefs, but then I would be living a completely different life. How does that work, Ashanti? That's the deeper connection. But can you believe Bello in that he wouldn't ask Ashanti to convert? A part of me says I might believe him. A part of me believes this about Bello. Just like he knocked up that woman in Miami, and it doesn't have nothing to do with his religious practices, and he did it just fine. Just like he's over here sniffing up behind Dom, even though he's that fine. And then he told us about his story with his mother and father. He says his father's a lawyer and his mother's an accountant. Is Bello African? And when he told me that story about what he was supposed to be, what they say he was supposed to be a lawyer or a doctor or something. And what Bello said was he didn't become neither one. So what Bello is saying is, I don't want to be like my parents, whereby they tried to make you to be something you don't want to be. And so what Bello is saying, I would never try to make you, Ashanti, be something you didn't want to be, because I grew up with that. And I would never want someone to try to make me be who I am. And he started talking about art and how he was an artistic person. That's why he's so into fashion. And none of this art part was probably valued by his person. This side of Bello, where he's creative and artistic, it probably wasn't valued by his lawyer father and his accountant mother. And what Bello probably had to do was Bello probably had to go outside the wishes of his parents and follow his own dreams. He really did. But does that mean that he and Ashanti make a good team because he was able to open up? He was able to open up to Ashanti? I don't think so. I think part of feeling comfortable with Ashanti also has to do with he's not really trying to impress Ashanti, because he already knows that the person he wants to be with is Dom. So there is no pressure to impress Ashanti, so he can be friends. I keep telling Ashanti this, that be careful when you keep getting into these friend zones with men and you have all these great conversations with them. Part of the reason men can open up to some women in the friend zone is because they have nothing to lose. I keep explaining that people need to have something to lose. And with a friend, you have nothing to lose. If you're a female, you're just my friend. I don't have anything to lose if you think of me as a weak person or you see my vulnerabilities. You see? Having a man open up to you prior to being married to him and all that, yes, it could be that they feel comfortable with you, but it also could mean that you are in a friend zone and they don't feel like they need to really impress you. And I think that's what happens to Ashanti. She, in her own way, is like a Shannon too. She provides a safe space for men who don't want to commit, because she's so non-committal, she's so scary that, oh, I can go over here with her. She's not gonna ask nothing of me because she's so scared herself. So people need to look at their patterns. They really do. They really do. But then we also got to see the conversation with Lauren and Vince. And this is what I said, Lauren, you lost me, girl. You lost me. And Vince, I was on Vince's side. Vince's points were all very, very valid. Very, very valid. And Lauren didn't see any of his points. None whatsoever. And he said, for you not to take any accountability for your friends whatsoever. You see, Lauren's so busy worried about how Vince would look, how she would look when she's out on the town. Lauren says, I don't know if I can take him anywhere, because if I take him anywhere, I don't know how he's gonna act, right? Lauren is so worried about her image and her friend's opinion and everything else. She misses the point. You see what I'm saying? That's why she fumbled the ball. She's so worried about her appearance on this show and how to maneuver and how to act. Maybe she was thinking she didn't want to come on the show and appear too thirsty, that she loses the game. You see what I'm saying? And now here she is again, so worried about her friend's opinion and what other people are going to think of Vince, that if she really did like Vince, then why are you over here worried about this? You see what I'm saying? It's the weirdest thing. She worried about the wrong thing. Like I said, we're probably going to be here next week doing some football highlights about Lauren Fumbled, because I think she's the one going home. She's going home. We got to see the whole everybody at breakfast. Darius prepared breakfast for everyone. Ashante said it was weird having fish for breakfast. You know what was even weirder? I don't think having fish for breakfast is weird. Salmon croquettes, come on now, Ashante. But anyway, brunch, it ain't weird. But what's more weird was Shannon was at that breakfast table with her pearls on. Pearls and pajamas. Pearls and pajamas. I ain't never heard of it. And then next thing you know, Cardi brings up some messiness about where did everyone sleep. And I'm thinking, Cardi, why did you bring that up? Are you trying to out the fact that Dom and Bello slept together? Or were you trying to brag over the fact that you slept in Ashante's bedroom? I think it was the latter. That's what I think. I think he wanted everyone to know he slept in the bed with Ashante, even though Ashante said it was PG. We know it's PG, Ashante. Everything with Ashante is PG. She is the queen of PG and friendship. So we know ain't nothing. It probably wasn't even PG, Ashante. It was probably rated G. But Ashley said she ain't telling her business about what she did. No. And Dom too said, I'm not telling my business. And Bello said he ain't telling his business. Good. Because this little game that Cardi is playing, that little nerd game, trying to say, oh, I slept with a girl and I liked it. I kissed a girl and I liked it, even though we know you didn't. That's nerdish, Cardi. That was so nerdish. So that didn't go nowhere. And Vince made a joke out of it. I said, I was looking for Donna because I was ready to sleep in the same room with her. I thought that was funny. It was really, really funny. And then we got Steve, the school teacher, getting all the kids together to do some painting, some sharing. They're going to design a pot. We're going to get to see next week who all the pots were made for. We can see Shannon done made a pot. She's going to let us know who it's for. We already know who it's for, Shannon. It is for Steve. And we just hope it ain't got nothing to do with nursing. Okay? Shannon, if you put anything on that pot, I'm going to tell you three things, Shannon, you better stay the hell away from with this pot. You better stay away from nursing. You better stay away from anything with pearls. And you better not paint that pot pink and green. Girl, you better not. You better not. Shannon was all over Steven in this episode. She up here flopping the bed. She up here getting her legs wrapped around him. He was in the bed. And Steven didn't have his arm around her. How are you going to be laying on a man's chest, your leg on top, and he looking at his phone with one hand and his other hand is behind his head? He ain't even put his hand around you, girl, Shannon. He don't want you. Steven is not interested in Shannon. Shannon ain't got no connection here. Lauren is full of regret. She going home next week. So get ready, y'all. Get ready. But anyway, that's all I got, y'all. I know it's a long video. Hopefully, y'all stuck with me to the end. Let me know down in the comments if you stuck with me to the very end of this video. All right? And if you are still here while I'm about to sign off, please, y'all, don't watch me this long and then forget to give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up, please, y'all. I need some more likes and I need some more subscriptions. But I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.